Salem in North Carolina, and they are charged up. Why not? Their team ranked number 16 in the nation today, playing host to number 3 North Carolina, who they had beaten here 2 years in a row. Let's go back and take a look at last year. Childress injures his shoulder and goes out. At this time, the Deacs are leading by 13. But Donald Williams teased the comeback. The jumper right here, and it cuts it to 2 points. But this will seal it for Wake Forest. They get the win, and the celebration is on here at the Joel Coliseum. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin along with Dick Vitale, and what a way to tip off your Saturday basketball viewing. These folks are a little bit more than excited, and they should be. What a great matchup. Number 3, number 16. Randolph Childress, Dick, is going to have to be the guy that comes up big again if Wake is going to make it 3 wins in a row.
Hey, Ron, when you talk about one of America's premier clutch performers, Mr. Clutch, you better speak about the BTP or Randolph Childress. Think about this. He had 18 of the last 20 points against Virginia the other night on the road, and they win by 1 point. He'll have to be scintillating here today to offset the great balance of North Carolina if they're to win. But you know what? He says, we expect to win at home, baby.
Pace is extremely important in this one. We'll come back and talk more about it. Have the starting lineups and the opening tip-off. Right now, let's go back to Carl Ravitch at the studio. Carl.
Hi, Ron Franklin.
From the Joel Coliseum for North Carolina. Jeff McInnes, Donald Williams, Jerry Stackhouse, Rasheed Wallace, and Dante Calabria couldn't come in here any hotter than he is.
Well, he knocked down 8 trifectas in their last game against Florida State.
Here are the starting lineup for Wake Forest. For the Demon Deacons, Randolph Childress, Jerry Braswell, Ricky Corral, Travis Banks, and Tim Duncan.
Travis Banks is an old Rambo man. He's a defensive stopper.
Dave Odom walks over to take his seat. One more word with Travis Banks over at the bench, and we're just about set to get this one underway. Tim Duncan will jump it up against Wallace. Can the Deacs make it 3 in a row at home? We'll find out as Carolina goes on offense first.
Man-to-man defense. I think we'll see multiple defenses by Wake Forest.
Inside to Wallace. Falls away. Not there, but the shot and the rebound by Corral.
Corral played for Real Madrid in Spain. Has good international experience. The finesse player.
Dickie, as we get this one started, now add on to what I said at the close of the open. What about pace and the importance in this game?
Tempo's so big, especially to Wake Forest. They have to play at a slower pace, maximize each possession.
Too hard off the back iron by Travis Banks.
Wallace, big-time rebounder. What a matchup inside. Wallace and Duncan. Keep an eye away from the ball. Number 21 and number 30.
Calabria misses.
He missed one.
Unbelievable.
He's been on fire all year.
Inside, count the hoop, Travis Banks.
One of the really improved players on this Wake Forest team. Had a great preseason in terms of the workouts, getting ready for the year. North Carolina tried to establish immediately going to Wallace inside against Duncan.
McInnes drives the lane, unlucky on the shot, in and out.
Wake Forest trying to play at a little faster pace than I expected, Ron.
Caught him in transition, they thought, but the pass a little bit long and a turnover against the Demon Deacons.
Dave Odom, what a job he has done. 4 consecutive years to the big dance, the NCAA tournament. They got a lot of electricity here. These fans, the Wake Wackos, the Screaming Demons.
This is my first trip in to see Wake in this building. This is a great facility, and what a crowd. Pump inside, partially blocked. Stackhouse can't get it clear. Turns and stares at the official. No foul. And at the other end, the easy 2 as they catch him in transition.
Corral shows that he can run the floor. North Carolina's staring, but a great look into Corral for the deuce.
Williams possibly got away with the travel, gets his own follow and switches.
Balance so unbelievable for North Carolina. Their last game scored 100 points, 98 by the 5 starters.
Corral loses it, tipped on the floor. Banks is right there.
Mr. Banks on the weak side comes up with the loose ball, takes it right to the goal. Dave Odom told me the first 4 minutes will dictate the kind of game it will be.
Wallace gets it. Boy, an impossible angle.
just a big-time player. So dominant down inside. Has become so smooth with his back to the basket.
The officials for the ball game, Lenny Wirtz, along with John Moreau and Stan Root. And it was Lenny who said I was unsighted on the play, and outside they made the call. They said we'll go back to Carolina.
McGinnis had such a special dimension at that point guard slot. He's a penetrator, a scorer.
Stackhouse fouled on the way to the hoop.
That's a great matchup right now, too, Ron. Talking about Banks against Stackhouse. Banks, a tremendous defensive player, shut down Cherokee Parks, had him shoot 2 for 14, did a great job against him in their win over Duke.
Jerry Braswell picks up the foul. It's his first, and the team's first.
Braswell inserted that starting lineup as you look at Michelangelo, Dean Smith. Averaging 20 points a game. The last time a guy in the ACC led the ACC in scoring from out of North Carolina, his name was Michael Jordan. He averaged 19.4.
He could have gone by Angelo as well. By the way, you saw that shot of Dean Smith over there on the bench. Bill Guthridge sitting next to him. 28 years sitting side by side.
Loyalty. He's turned down so many jobs. Loves his role as being an assistant coach at North Carolina. They start out in a 1-4 set, run a little curl move up top.
Down in the corner, Brown.
Have not been able to get it inside to Duncan yet. Hasn't touched the ball.
Hand check there as Childress tries to drive the hoop.
You know, Duncan had great numbers. Think about these numbers against Florida State. 26 points, 20 rebounds, and 5 block shots. And he wasn't heavily recruited. Came out of St. Croix. Well, one of my favorite broadcasters, Lynn, Mr. Jim Simpson.
Yeah. McGinnis got the foul. It's his first. The lean in. Won't go. Duncan battles for it. Not going to have it. McGinnis comes away with it.
Duncan's got soft hands, long arms.
Stackhouse for 3. Back to the beach. Duncan, what a shot blocker. We talked about that. Dick actually was a swimmer before he really turned to basketball, which is amazing.
Yeah, he was a great 400-meter freestyle guy. Blocked 124 shots last year as a freshman.
Turns with the jump hook. Tries to get his own follow. McGinnis will come away with it.
And has really improved as an offensive player.
Calabria drives, reverses it, and scores. Nice job. Nice look by Williams.
He's got to be one of the most improved players in America. Dante Calabria. Once he got playing time, he has really shown what he's capable of doing.
Wanted the shot. Wallace got a piece of it. Inside, he pulls up with the 8-footer, and Duncan can't get it.
You know, Calabria, Ron, is just not a one-dimensional shooter. Leading three-point shooter in the ACC. They're really not big, North Carolina, on the wings with Stackhouse and Calabria. There's the drive to the goal. Little reverse action.
They're 5-1 in the ACC that only lost the cross-state rival NC State.
Yeah, that was without Dante Calabria. They played with a full cast. NC State coming up next against Clemson, scoring a lot of points. You see 91 points a game. Really a solid offensive club. Wake, look at this. I am impressed with 38.5 field goal percentage. And you think about that, the reason for that is the presence of Tim Duncan.
North Carolina missed their first 5. They're now 3 of 9. Wake Forest 3 of 7.
2-3 zone right now. Childress can handle the rock. Was turning it over a little bit earlier this year, trying to do a little too much.
I think he and Coach Oldham had a talk about that, didn't they? 3-pointer off the mark by Braswell.
Braswell and Rutland have been sharing that point guard slot. They also got the little guy, the quarterback that can shoot the 3, LaRue, who comes off the bench for Davey Odom.
So say the folks who follow this program that Childress was trying to put too much on his own shoulders. And Dave said, hey, go back to doing what you do best. And that's just win. He did a great job the other night to beat a good, solid Virginia team at Virginia. Scored 18 in the last 20 points. McGinnis, hands can't get it to go. Duncan skies for the rebound.
I love Duncan. He's such an active player. You got to like Duncan and Wallace. You think of Joe Smith, the 3 super Souths in this league. That, my friends, is a super player. What a penetration. What a drive by Childress.
Duncan coming off a great performance against Virginia.
Stackhouse trying to post inside. Boy, Banks loves playing defense. He's going to play football next year, number 34. Could be a tight end. Here he is. Stackhouse trying to post him.
Wallace spins, can't get it to go, and Travis Banks.
Hey, Banks really playing well on a glass as well.
Corral lost it, went right through his hand.
I really think that pace of game and that tempo will favor North Carolina if Wake tries to run the ball up and down the floor.
Blocked inside, and I think Corral will get credit for it.
Duncan was right there as well.
And Dave Odovic just gotten up and said, slow it down.
Yeah,
he make a great point, Dick.
He wants to maximize each possession. He doesn't want to get up into up and down game. Doesn't have the firepower to really play with North Carolina up and down.
Because for the most part, he's only been playing, what, 7, 8 people at the most.
Well, North Carolina not deep, but they got such outstanding scorers.
Corral.
Hey, if he starts shooting the ball, Ron, he knocked down 6 for 8 against Virginia. He's been slow coming around.
He's got 4.
We'll call him Ricky. It's Ricardo. It's Ricky. When he plays well, it's anything he wants. It might be Ricky Ricardo. Hey, I love Lucy.
Lucy, he got lots of explaining to do. 10-8, the Demon Deacons leading as Calabria will go to the bench to number 22, Pierce Landry, a senior out of Greensboro.
Great
into the
student.
lineup.
What a great student academically. Wallace trying to get in deep. Very active.
Three-pointer, McGinnis.
He gives him such a dimension. He can shoot the 3. He can drive. He's got great size. And he's a tough defensive player on the ball.
Dickey's a 40% shooter from three-point range. He showed live as Brackman is off the mark. And here comes Carolina.
And he can rebound as well for a big guard.
Corral almost took it away. Stackhouse says, give me the rock, and I'm going to pull up and hit it from 8.
Excellent 15-foot range for Jerry Stackhouse. The dynamite duo are as good as any combination in America. Stackhouse and Wallace.
Carolina with a 3-point lead as we're about to hit 12 and a half minutes left in this first half.
This is a real tough challenge tonight playing Childress. McGinnis, he shut down Best when they played against Georgia Tech.
Nice job of the screen outside, and again, they're unlucky on the three-point try. But Carolina comes away with the board.
Wallace really bothered Duncan on that offensive rebound.
Williams not there. Duncan rebounds and a whistle away from the action inside.
I mentioned McGinnis and his defense. He held Best to 4 for 14. Wayne Simpkins, fine point guard of Maryland, 1 for 5. And Corey Alexander, 2 for 10, when they were able to escape with that win at home against Virginia.
Duncan was called for the foul, Dick. His first, the team second.
Calabria comes in for Donald Williams. He's trying to rotate people, giving him a few seconds on the bench to rest.
Rusty LaRue in the lineup, number 10 for Wake Forest.
Quarterback in football.
But he doesn't cost them. He's not a basketball scholarship guy. His scholarship is with football.
Yeah, he doesn't count in terms of a total of 13 scholarships that are allowed each school on Division I level in basketball.
Also, Tony Rutland. You can see number 30 in again. Freshman out of Hampton, Virginia.
Played with Allen Iverson. They won a state championship 2 years ago at Bethel High School.
He comes away with a steal.
He was starting earlier. Started 9 of the first 12 games at that point guard slot. Good shooter. Been a little streaky this year on a collegiate level, making that adjustment. Patience right now, so important, Ron.
Rutland against Landry. Now the shot clock down to 6, down to 5. He drives off the glass. Nice move and a great shot.
Excellent penetration. Good isolation. Strong drive. Played big against Clemson. Came off the bench, knocked in 12 points and 2 trifectas.
Stackhouse just inside the three-point line. Duncan goes up to the board.
Duncan can run as well. He's leading the break. They got him up the court. Oh, he's dynamite in the lane.
in a lane. He is dynamite.
Off-season shoulder surgery, and he shows no ill effects from it.
Hurt his shoulder last year, as you talked about earlier, against North Carolina in that win here. Oh, get it out of here! I'm going to race this, says Duncan. Stackhouse says, where did he come from?
On the floor, but he lost it, stole it back again. The block inside, and Banks with the reversal can't get it to go.
Not a good shot right there. He's got Calabria. Oh, that's a big-time move. That's an NBA move. Jerry Stackhouse changing direction, hangs in the air, and tap him on the head. That's an NBA transition drive.
Carolina by 1. We're about to hit the midway point of this first half, and I don't know if these two clubs can go the entire ball game at this pace.
What exciting plays we're seeing.
Way outside, Childress off the mark. Wake comes back with the basketball.
And Duncan keeps it alive with those long arms.
Tipped by McGinnis, so there'll be no backcourt violation. He can take his time. Shot clock only at 20.
Childress handling the ball up on top. He can rotate, play the point as well as the second guard. Combination guard.
Three if it goes, counted for Rutledge.
Rutledge wants back that starting job. What a positive performer. And he's playing with some adversity. His mom had this surgery, and he has great love for his mom. We want to wish her a speedy recovery.
Lob.
Oh, hello, the diagonal pass. Jam City, baby.
About a 7.5 of the Richter.
Whoa. No, let's give it a higher. That's two. Hey, what an exciting game. Both these clubs ready to play so early.
Are they really? And Dick, very few whistles, very few stoppage of play. We already are under 9 minutes left in this first half.
What excellent match. Coast Carolina's going to go to a little trap. Rutledge wide open. Rutledge wide open. He did that against Clemson.
8 points already.
He might be a spark off the bench. Might be an excellent 6-man.
Stackhouse, not much you can do when he gets it in that tight. Missed it, but Wallace, he's there. Just in the answer.
What an acrobatic shot by Stackhouse that he missed. And Wallace at the rim. Hold me down, Ron. This is incredible. This is unreal.
This crowd is loving it. The kids never sit here at this arena. And I mean, some of the folks that are non-students aren't sitting in their seats as well. Duncan misses the shot, goes to the floor. Landry pushes it up.
Landry, good rebound.
Wallace.
He will be America's #1 player if he makes himself available for the NBA draft. I think it'll be very tough for him, as I told you, to be able to turn down the kind of cash that'll be there. Somebody better guard Rutledge, or better than that, call the fire chief. He's burning down the nuts.
Dean Smith may step out and try to guard him. He's right there in front of him. The lob inside, and a foul against Carolina. Take a break. 7:29 left until halftime. We'll be right back. So much very deserving group there. Steve Largent going into the first ballot. Dick, this is the reason you've been so excited. 3 ties, 8 lead changes already.
And it's been also the unbelievable plays, the great acrobatic plays, the hanging in the air, the twisting, the fast pace of the game. We look here at the field goal percentage. Shot selection, Carolina 8 for 19 out of 2, 1 for 3 from 3. And they're the leading ACC team in shooting the 3. They're in a 2-3 zone right now. They like the trap out of this 2-3.
LaRue left alone.
Good inside-outside action. Can't allow him to shoot the ball and spot up, Ron.
Five-point lead, largest lead by Wake in the ballgame.
That was an excellent pass by Duncan out to the perimeter. You go inside and kick it out.
Good job by LaRue defensively as he took it away from Stackhouse. And we're going to take another break. 6:51 left until halftime. Wake Forest on top. Top with 6:51 left until halftime. And, of course, we are on Tobacco Road. We'll coming up next. Just travel down to the other end of Tobacco Road. Clemson 10-5, 1-5 in the conference against NC State. They are 2-4 in the conference race, but they are 10-6 on the season. Coming up next.
And they also beat North Carolina shooting the three. They knocked down 14 threes at NC State. Talk to John Saunders. I know he's excited about being there today for the game with Clemson.
Wake missed their first 4 3-pointers. They've now hit their last 4. Calabria.
He's got that great rotation, perfect follow through. His dad, as he's documented, played at Iowa. Dr. Tom Davis wished the young man would have came to Iowa.
Well, Rutland's kind of warm right now as well. He's 3 of 3. He hit that last 3-pointer for the Demon Deacons.
Playing like a 3-guard set right now. Get a little more ball handling, a little more perimeter shooting. Rutland's really been solid.
Duncan, when you give him that much time to square up and shoot, I think he's going to do it every time. Back to a 5-point Wake Forest lead.
He's added a lot of pounds. He's also super strong now. He really got a great deal of experience playing with the Goodwill Games team. Told me he enjoyed playing with Alan Henderson and Cherokee Parks and Lou Rowe.
Corral causes the turnover. Trying to get the pass inside Calabria.
Matchups right now, they have Wallace playing Corral, and they got Zwicker playing Duncan. I'd go to Duncan right now with his experience. I'd bring the ball down to Duncan and let him attack Zwicker down in the interior.
Corral says, let me shoot a 3. He does, gets the long carom, and he'll take it back out as they reset. Rutland from 3.
Not really a good possession right there. Should have got the ball inside to Duncan. Had his back to the basket, was posted inside. He'll make the big-time shot.
Donald Williams.
Sardano knocks it down. We know about the MVP trophy in '93 when he knocked down 10 threes in the Final Four against Kansas and Michigan.
28-26. The Deeps on top. Great move by Duncan. He waited to get the foul. Thought he got bumped, but he did not. Gets the easy 2.
That's a smart play. You go inside to your star player, Duncan. He's playing against the inexperience of Serge Zwicker. He has to have the advantage in that sequence.
Zwicker, who turned an ankle a couple of weeks ago, back healthy enough to play again. In and out. But it's Zwicker with that. Right back. He's well off the mark, and Corral will finally get the rebound.
Corral playing well. Zwicker kept that ball alive.
You know, one of the things they've said about Corral, he really hadn't adjusted to the physical play, and he doesn't seem like that today, Dick.
No, he's really playing really hard. He can shoot the open shot. Oh, look at Duncan. Great field. Knows how to anticipate the missed shot.
And an injury to Calabria. He is down. So let's take a break. We'll look at it when we come back. 3:55 until halftime.
Stand by Duncan. The contact right there on Calabria. Ooh. Can't afford to lose him. Shooting 62% from three-point range. Dante Calabria. He looks like he's okay in a huddle.
What we were wondering during the timeout, I know the youngster went down with the injury, but Wake Forest had the basketball, and Dave Odom got up and questioned why the stoppage in play.
Yeah, he really did right there with them having the basketball. He looks like he's okay right now, Dante. 62.3% from three-point range. You can throw it back in college. You can't throw the ball back over that timeline in the NBA. Childress averaging 19 points a game. Now he's being guarded by Shammond Williams. Has given him some positive minutes, Williams, especially against Clemson on the road.
If you just joined us, 4-point lead by Wake Forest.
North Carolina rotates into a man-to-man.
Childress off the mark. Duncan comes away with the ball.
He's got such strong hands.
Hangs there, gets the friendly roll. And Childress gets 2 more.
Childress with that soft touch. He's the chiller. You talk about great guards in the country. Damon Stoudemire. You got to talk about Rustford.
Good dish to Wallace, and he was fouled.
Tim Duncan is so active, and he doesn't really not spectacular style, but steady style.
Calabria back into the lineup. That's good news for Carolina followers. Travis Banks gets the foul. It's his first to the team's third.
Well, we want to send our sympathies out to those innocent people who lost their lives in the violence down there in Chapel Hill. So unfortunate. Our heart goes out to those families.
Calabria passed up the three. Landry back out to Williams.
Playing a 2-3 zone now, Wake.
Look at Wallace inside, and he missed the follow, and he has injured either his knee or his ankle. He came down on a shoe, I believe.
Yeah, it looks like it would be an ankle problem, and certainly would be a dilemma for North Carolina, who's not a very deep team. Last year they had such depth with Eric Montross and Phelps and Reese and all the new kids.
McGinnis will come into the lineup. Landry will go out.
John Moreau, fine official right there, going to hand the ball. Looks like Wallace is gritting his teeth. He's okay. His mom is living in Durham, out in Duke country now. There's the jumper from the baseline. And there goes Wallace up.
And Corral was charged with the foul.
I think he just quickly turned his ankle.
Just stunned it a little bit. I think you're right.
A little shock there. You know, you talk about Player of the Year candidates. He certainly has to be a top one, as well as Joe Smith from out of Maryland, Damon Stoudemire, Ed O'Bannon. But my choice, I said the other day, if I voted today, would be Sean Restford and the job he's doing at Michigan State. He's been beautiful all year long for Judd Heathcote and the Spartans.
He's making it last year a very special year for Judd.
Childress having a great year, but started off a little bit slow. Preseason Player of the Year selection in the ACC.
Calabria goes down as he gets the rebound.
He's a pretty good rebounder. That was an old Boston Celtics player. A little curl move off the post. Red Auerbach used to run that. Look at Childress being a referee. He says, I'm a referee. I'm going up the other way. Dean says, let him play basketball. He can't referee, too.
32-27. Wake Forest leads.
You know, think about this. North Carolina maligned last year. They're number one in the polls round when the season ends in terms of the regular season. They win the ACC tournament. They win 29 games. But everybody says it's not enough. What a mentality. If they didn't have a good year, then who did?
I'm going to give you a number in just a moment to show you, I guess, turnover against Wake. They are 15-1, Dick, ranked number 3 in the nation. Only 12 better starts in school history, but you say only. They're 4 of the times they've been 15-1.
And everybody screams, including yours truly, they're not deep, they don't have depth, but all they do is keep winning and winning.
Delta Faucet halftime report coming up. Some of the things we'll be talking about. Top 25 preview, also scores and highlights and scares. Deep in the corner for 3, will not go for Stackhouse.
Stackhouse has improved his range as a shooter, but he's a much better and more effective scorer when he's slashing and posting on the inside.
Down under 2 minutes in what has been an extremely rapid first half.
Starting to really control tempo a little bit more now, Wake Forest.
Crowd wanted to reach in there. Didn't get one.
Got the lead. This is exactly what Davey Odom would like. The lead, tempo, and a super guard.
Childress wound up across the media table.
Childress, an outstanding free throw shooter as well. John Chaney with his magical zone defense causes all kinds of problems. You saw the score there. Hey, what about last night? You ready for this? Massachusetts down 18 with 4 minutes and change on the clock, and they come back and win by a clutch jumper by Michael Williams, who's done it his entire career for UMass. But I'll tell you one thing, St. Bonaventure and also now West Virginia, things are getting a little bit tight down there at Massachusetts.
That's one of the things they'll be talking about at halftime, Dick, from the Delta Faucet halftime report. Stackhouse, by the way, only 2 of 10 in his first half.
Travis Banks, we talked about what he did to Parks and what he did to Russell. Oh, he got hit. Oh, Childress got hit and they missed it. Came back and hustled and came up with a loose ball.
Ian Smith wanted an over and back.
He played at Flint Hill in high school for Stu Vetter, and they had at that time another player by the name of George Lynch, as we all know was a great one for North Carolina. Now playing with the Lakers. In fact, a great story. They came there to look at George Lynch, Davey Odom, and Terry Holland trying to recruit at Virginia at that time, and they ended up falling in love with Childress. Travis Banks with 6 points. And it's not only his 6 points, but his defensive job that he's done on Stackhouse. Well off the mark, Duncan has the ball, and the Demon Deacons have an opportunity for one shot. That was really a big miss by Dante Calabria, and it's like a shock. I mean, he didn't come close. He's such a great shooter. Why not going to double up? That means the wings will be open. And he spread the court, good spacing. Davey Odom, a fine teacher. 4 consecutive 20-game seasons. Oh, back pass by Childress. Calabria, and they will head to the locker room. What a first half here in Winston-Salem. Excellent job, the game plan of Wake Forest. Controlled tempo and neutralized Stackhouse and Wallace.
Carl Ravitch, the largest lead of the first half for the Demon Deacons. We are at halftime with our score, 34-27. Back to you.
Hi, Ron. Thank you very much. It's like watching the 49ers run an offense. This was nonstop.
Stackhouse fouled on the way to the hoop.
Jerry Stackhouse played together with McGinnis over at Oak Hill, where they've produced so many outstanding players. North Carolina's in a hunt for a great 6'10 player, Randall Jackson, from out of Massachusetts, but also Connecticut's right there as well, possibly, they tell me, Kentucky.
Childress picks up the foul. North Carolina didn't score the last 5:04 of that first half, and they have missed right here to open the second half. They're almost a minute deep in here.
Yeah, they really got cold there in that second part of that second half, but also Wake Forest, a little multiple defenses, did a solid job defensively. Here's Childress running the show now. Braswell starts.
Duncan.
He can go inside, outside, very versatile.
6 points for him.
These next 4 minutes are really big for Wake Forest, Ron. They have to maintain this lead. They have to have the poise to be able to play, because you just know North Carolina is going to make a spurt.
Well, this is the biggest lead by Wake Forest. 9 points.
Match up here, Banks, a defensive stopper, really making Stackhouse work. What a catch inside. Great hands, quick to the goal. He's become so strong inside, really wanting to rock down in deep, Rasheed Wallace.
They were trying to deny it, both front and back. And boy, when he makes the reception there, it's over. Finally, Carolina breaks the drought. 11 points for Rasheed Wallace.
They're stepping Duncan out to the foul line because Wallace is not rotating out on him up on top. He's going to get that open jump shot.
Shuffle on the baseline, and McGinnis will go to the line. Coming up on Big Monday, presented by Bud Light. Quite a triple header. First of all, in the Big East, Syracuse and Georgetown, number 6 against number 14. And then the 9:30 game. It is Missouri traveling to number 14, Iowa State. Hoiberg and company have been extremely tough up there. And the midnight game, unranked UNLV against Long Beach State. All of that on Big Monday, presented by Bud Light.
I can't wait to get down here for that Georgetown game. Spoke to John Thompson on Friday, and he's really excited about the potential of his young players. As we look at Dean sitting on the sideline, what a record this man has achieved. Are you kidding me? 9 Final Fours, 12 ACC tournament titles, 16 ACC regular season titles, 56 tournament wins.
Missed them both. Braswell, by the way, picked up the foul, his second.
That's a big miss right there. Carolina needed some points in terms of stopping a little momentum that Wake has. I'd play a little two-man game now. I'd play Childress and Duncan, a little two-man game.
Calabria tries to gamble. Banks with the feed inside. Because of the missed assignment, somebody had to be left open.
Great look by Travis Banks, that little jump pass look. The dump down into Duncan. This is a big possession. They need to score right here.
Oh, they went to the right guy. Wallace now with 13.
Is there any doubt that he's the best big player in America, the best center in the nation? Joe Smith, to me, is the best power forward in the country.
Almost stolen by Calabria. Corral deep in the corner. It's not there. And here's Stackhouse as they run, and he's going to be fouled by Childress.
Jerry Stackhouse really excels in transition. He's got that super strong body. He's very explosive. He had a real subpar first half against Clemson and came on strong in the second half. He's that kind of player, Ron. He puts points on the board very quickly.
Team fouls quickly. 4 against Wake Forest in the second half. 2nd against Children. None against North Carolina.
I know it's big also. Wake Forest, as typical, North Carolina doesn't do a lot of fouling. They were 0 for 0 in the first half on a free throw line. They go to the line.
Three-pointer that goes. Yes, sir. Jeff McGinnis.
Carolina can hurt you so many places on the floor. They can hurt you on the wing. They can hurt you at the perimeter on top of the foul line area. They can certainly hurt you down in the low post.
Calabria knocked it away, but he's going to be charged with a violation.
Wake Forest has been playing against all nationally ranked teams. It seems every time you line up in the ACC, it's against a nationally ranked team. Look at these teams where they were ranked when they played them. They started that demise. Well, it started with Clemson for Duke. That's a big win at Virginia because Virginia's been playing so well.
All the way to the hoop and rejected by Stackhouse.
Stackhouse a pretty good shot blocker.
2-on-2. Good job by Carolina to get back in transition.
Timmy Duncan, yes! He says, Duncan, Duncan, baby! And the Screaming Demons go bananas, as do the Wade Wackos! Hello, Timmy!
Williams left alone, knocks it down.
They got to get some open shots for Donald Williams. Son Donald can make the big shot.
Four-point lead. They trap inside. Oh, what a nice look. And the dunk by Duncan.
They're really taking advantage of the double team. They're spotting the open man. They're bringing the ball into the post and then looking opposite. Great look by Travis Banks. He's been sensational today defensively, and he's made some great passes.
Stackhouse.
He's going to let Stackhouse shoot that perimeter shot.
11 rebounds by Tim Duncan.
And he quietly gets those rebounds you talked about, Ron. He's got those long, long arms and those really great paws. He has tremendous hands. It's great to see a kid that wasn't really pampered coming out of high school. He wasn't really America's guest. They discovered him out of Chris King, former player, played in an all-star game out there. And they said he played Alonzo Mourning tough, and he called up his coach. Look at him right there with the block shot. He's got Banks. He's got Banks. No,
so pulls up there and switches it.
Braswell says to get Banks. I'm going to make it. Hey, I'll tell you, is he a human eraser? They love him. The bench stands up. He's all rejection city. Tim Duncan.
8-point Deacon lead.
Plays with a lot of poise. Very rarely gets in foul trouble. Oh, that's a big-time play. A little baseline jumper, jump shot in your face by Rasheed. Played for a great coach, Ellaby in high school at Simon Gratz in Philadelphia.
15 now for Wallace. Duncan. Shot has become a machine that goes in.
Well, he shot it right over the top of Calabria on a little mismatch, rotated. They threw the skip pass away from the double team, and then the good 45-degree angle inside. Getting good spacing.
Stackhouse rejected.
Guess who? Mr. Duncan. Yes, sir. Guess who? The chiller takes it to the goal. The Screaming Demons. Duncan is phenomenal today. Timmy Duncan.
Largest lead, 10 points by Wake.
What a performance we're seeing on the inside by Duncan. And Wallace is not too bad either.
Wallace can't get it to go, but the foul by Stackhouse.
Stackhouse on the offensive rebound. Wallace and Duncan are really showing why they're two of the great Souths in America. This is just great basketball. Yesterday on my flight, the flight attendant got on the microphone as we arrived. We arrived in Greensboro, and he said, this is the home of great college basketball. Amen to that.
just off the mark, and Calabria will come away with it. A little razzle-dazzle behind the back. Williams misses the mark and saved by Travis Banks.
They got numbers. They got numbers. They got numbers. Oh, they have numbers. They have numbers. Created by Wallace. What a great play by Rasheed Wallace. Duncan. Oh, another great play. I can't believe it. One after another. Rejection. Rejection. God, hold me down. This is just super, baby.
And he has just collected the foul, and let's wait and see, is it going to be a 2-shot or 3-shot?
Whoa, he plays with such poise also, Duncan. Take a look at this block. Now look at Rasheed. Look at the great recovery. He takes it to the glass. Now here comes the heels. Duncan says, anything you can do, Rasheed, I can do better. And there he is, one. And now he goes up again. Bing. Bingo, bango, get it out of here.
It's his second foul. And as Dick mentioned, he rarely gets in foul trouble. Our question is it a 2-shot or 3-shot violation? It's 3.
He gets 3.
Wow.
He gets 3. I'll tell you, his timing is just so unreal when you talk about Duncan's shot blocking ability.
I think he's expressionless. He doesn't grimace. He doesn't smile. Doesn't do anything.
Exactly. Just plays. He had 124 blocks last year, third all-time in the league for one season. Number 1 was a guy by the name of Ralph Sampson, 157 in 1981, and then Cedric Lewis of Maryland had 143 in 1991.
The miss, Duncan tips it back out. As you can see on his numbers, he has 5 blocks on the day, and you've got to love him. He just does his work, no dance, no talk, just get it done.
Yeah, no dancing, no sliding, no showboating, no hot dogging, just playing hoops. And he wasn't a heavily recruited young man. A lot of people didn't know about him. Just like Harold Dean, who plays for Virginia. And they're so hungry, those kind of kids.
Travis Banks.
Banks has made the little open shot. He's made the great pass.
Well, what a valuable player. All of his doesn't show up in the stat sheet. He does such a good job defensively.
Oh, he is really challenging Stackhouse. And then he says, Jerry, I'm going to let you play out there. See how he's playing off Stackhouse? He's not going to guard him on the perimeter.
Calabria. Swished it.
Nothing but nylon. At the end, he could really drill the jumper.
He's got 6 points. Dick, I'm trying to think, has he even taken a 3-pointer today, though?
They're
I'm
really
not sure he has.
They're getting in his face on a 3-point shot. He took 1 in the first half, but they're getting in his face, making him have to put it to the floor. Can't allow him to get that look from up on top. Little 2-man game. Duncan and Childress, they are the heart and soul of the offensive game plan of Wake Forest.
Childress now with 11. Wallace reverses it. He's blocked by Duncan.
He can't believe it. He wants the foul. Duncan says, no way, baby.
Banks misses, but right there is Childress on the follow. He's off balance, and here come numbers for North Carolina. 3-on-1 in the break. Calabria misses the 3.
I thought Calabria should have given that off to the trailer, Jerry Stackhouse.
Oh, Dick, what a mistake. It wound up a 4-on-1 break. McGinnis gets the foul. North Carolina, no points. Top of the telecast that they were excited here. What great fans in Winston-Salem, and they have a 10-point lead. Great show by the big men, but Tim Duncan has just been out of this world.
He has been sensational. His shot blocking ability, his time, and his poise. And I really love the way he plays. As you said, Ron, he just goes out there and plays. There's no dancing, there's no gliding, there's no sliding, there's no real showtime. He just plays hoops, baby. And what a dominator in the lane from out of St. Croix. What a steal in the recruiting wars. Just like years ago when a guy arrived at the Naval Academy named the Admiral David Robinson. No one really wanted David, and he went on to become the College Player of the Year. I like those kind of stories.
You're right.
Story of the kid that hasn't been pampered and spoiled and told he's America's greatest.
There's a great work ethic. You can see Rusty LaRue, number 10, checks into the lineup. Junior out of Oak Ridge, North Carolina. The starting quarterback for 10 games for Wake this year. In and out, tries to get his follow, and Wallace comes away with it.
Not a good shot right there by LaRue. He's a stationary jump shooter. Has to wait till the shot comes to him. And there's a denial by Banks.
Timeout on the floor. 10:03 left in the ball game. Lead by Wake Forest. And Nick, in the rebounding department, Wake Forest leads at 30-22. And for Duncan, 14 points, 11 rebounds. He has 7 blocks. He's headed toward a triple-double.
That's why he makes my all-human eraser team as we look here at the field goal percentages. You know, you talk about great shot blockers. I certainly would go with Duncan and Wallace. And what about Samaki Walker? He'd make my all-rejection team, as well as Marcus Camby and a guy by the name of Donald Foyle.
Air ball. He misses everything.
Dante wants a foul. He says, Mr. Rowe, I got hit. I would never throw an air ball. I'm a 62% shooter from three-point range. Stanley Rowe is one of the great comedians in terms of being a guy who is not a comedian. You should see him hold court. He's got all kinds of one-liners, the zebra. Wake Forest got such a great lift out of Rutland. He's on the floor now. He can shoot the open shot, Rutland.
Still plenty of time in the shot clock. It's at 10. A reach in, and Wallace will pick up the foul, his first.
Temple winning on the road by 7 with that matchup zone. They'll send it to Miami of Ohio. Used to be an assistant to Rick Pitino with the lead.
Dick, the game later today in the ACC. It's interesting. Duke at Maryland. And Gary has never beaten Duke since he's been there.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Duke got that first win for Peter Gaudin against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. And they're 0-6 in the ACC. And it's not certainly going to be easy at Maryland. And then they have a home date on Thursday on ESPN2 with the Tar Heels.
Well, they're leading along for 3. Can't get it to go.
But that was a good shot. Good ball movement. They made the extra pass, and they spotted up the three-point shooter.
Tim Duncan with another one.
With those long, long arms. He just plays ballerina, keeps the ball alive. So just loves the end of the game. Loves the last 10 minutes. Certain players have that special way that they want the rock. He made a big shot to beat Duke last year at Duke at the buzzer.
Rusty LaRue gets it off to Peral, and Peral was fouled. And it looks like there's a McGinnis. Not going to be Stackhouse. It's 3 on him. Jerry Stackhouse with his third.
North Carolina players just got to play hoops right now. As Dean's calling for the walk, they can't really start to complain on every call. They just got to play basketball and really get into the game emotionally. Plenty of time left on the clock. And they're certainly on an outstanding club that they can put a spurt on and get right back in this game quickly, only down 10.
Calabria goes to the bench. Pierce Landry replaces him.
Looks to me like they're pressing a little bit now, North Carolina.
And the Deacons have done a better job the last 3 trips and burning some time off that clock.
Yeah, using the clock, making the extra pass, trying to get the high percentage shot. Now Wallace comes up, matches up with Duncan, doesn't let him catch the ball up top.
Offense. Nope, they're going to call travel. Lenny Works said he walked with the ball. Never got lucky there because it could have also been called an offensive foul.
Ricardo Peral trying to make something there that's not there. As you look at Dave Odom was an assistant to Terry Holland, who would be a great choice to be athletic director at Virginia. Stackhouse. Now he's got Peral playing him. Peral did a great job against Bob Summer, the great scorer out of Florida State.
Offensive foul. The last points. We have 7:56 left in the ball game. The last time Carolina scored was 11-12. Quite a drought. Andy, Carolina and Maryland tied at 5-1. If Wake holds on here, they could either move into second place, or if Maryland were to fall, move into a tie for first.
I'll tell you, so much balance. I believe this is the premier conference in America. For spirit, for enthusiasm, for media coverage, for the great facilities, and also for the outstanding coaching and players that they have in this league. I've said so many times, give me the best players in the ACC, and I will challenge America. Are you kidding? Wallace Smith Take Mr. Duncan, Childress, Best, Stackhouse, Parks. What a league in terms of great players. I told my guy, Digger Phelps, I said, Digger, I'll give you the rest of the country.
Did he take you up on it?
Yeah, he did. He says he'll put a club on to beat my club. No way.
Childress looks up. The shot clock is down to 4. Three-pointer, not there. Stackhouse brings it down.
Here's where North Carolina is going to make a little run right now. McGinnis is out with 4 fouls. Shamon Williams playing the point. They're going to start to get Stackhouse some posted plays inside.
Travis Banks will bring down the rebound. And now Wake will be in no hurry whatsoever as we go under 7.
Carolina tries to rotate over Calabria after a trap. They're going to extend defensively. Remember, Childress is a great free throw shooter, especially late in the game. Look at that drought. Look at that drought.
Three-pointer not there. Wallace will have it. Comes out to Shamon Williams.
See, I'm trying to post up block Stackhouse. Get him the ball around the basket. Score that. Score that basket.
Corral gets the violation. And the hoop is good.
Jerry Stackhouse is a great baseline player. He loves hanging around that baseline and utilizes his strength and quickness to the basket. Now watch North Carolina rotate into a trap. Minnesota with their solid backcourt playing Iowa. And here's a team that needs some publicity. Jeff Mullen. They're like 14-2. Jarvis Lang is tremendous. I mean, they are really outstanding. North Carolina, Charlotte.
Calabria gets the foul. Dick, I had him week before last. I've seen him on television. First time to see him in person. And you're right. Lang, to me, is absolutely one of the most underrated in the country.
Yeah, he doesn't get a lot of exposure and visibility. Also, Virginia Tech, who played North Carolina tough in front of 22,000 fans in that refurbished Greensboro Coliseum, has got a heck of a team under Bill Foster, former coach at Clemson.
53-45. Rutland, as they try to trap on him. Open, can't get it to go, and LaRue had an opportunity. A couple that he's missed when he's been open this time.
You're going to get open shots against the trap, especially on the wing, but you got to convert them.
Calabria. He's got it out on him quickly.
Yeah, they get right up in his face. They don't want him to shoot the 3. Jerry Stackhouse has improved his three-point shooting ability, but that is not his strength. And Wake Forest's game plan defensively is, let him try to beat us from the perimeter, Stackhouse. They're going to play off him.
Bad pass. Rutland got off his feet.
Got Wallace.
In the middle.
Got Wallace.
He is fouled.
Got Wallace.
He is fouled before the shot was taken.
Wallace can really run the court. He's a thoroughbred. He's got superb quickness. And he's got that tough tenacity about him, Alonzo Mourning. Oh, I don't know if that's not a continuation. I know they say there's no continuation, but if you're in the flow of your shot, that is supposed to be a continuous play. And that's what I think Dean Smith is saying right there.
Well, it's 1-1, so Wallace will get an opportunity.
There's no continuation like there is in the NBA. So, for example, if the guy's in the 3-second area and he's in the flow and motion of his shot, it's continuous.
Controlled by Duncan again, and he's fouled by Stackhouse. Or is it Calabria? If it's Calabria, he's out of here.
I think they get Stackhouse, but McGinnis is in trouble with 4. So is Calabria. As you look at the Carolina Brain Trust, the blue chipper, and I mean he's a blue chipper. I couldn't believe a negative article the other day that was incredible in one of the papers in North Carolina saying that Dean Smith has been a disappointment. He hasn't won as many national titles as he should with all his talent. I said, that guy's got to be wacky. Everybody should do their job as well as he does. Look at this here.
First time they've been to the line. By the way, it's the 3rd foul on Calabria, not his 4th, his 3rd.
But, you know, this is not really shocking to me. If you check the numbers out with North Carolina, they haven't really put the people that they've played on the free throw line practically at all in a number of games. And they've had such an edge on the free throw line. And one of the reasons they shoot a lot of free throws, especially late, with the lead, a lot of people foul deliberately. So therefore, they're going to get those 2 shots on the line. North Carolina. As Duncan splashes those 2 down.
16 points for Tim Duncan.
They got a great group here as well. The Wake Wackos. They're alumni guys who still act about 12. They're my kind of guys. My daughters always say, Dad, when are you going to act 50 instead of 12?
10-point lead for the Beacon. Wallace. And on the follow, the block.
Lunkett says, I got it. See, they're doubling up on Wallace. And when that happens, the offside rebounder is alone. And in this case, it's Stackhouse. Now here comes the double up. Now look, Stackhouse on the weak side is wide open. See, there's the double up. Now he's going to get good inside position. There's Stackhouse. There's the contact with the body. So they got all ball. That's 3.
3 fouls on Duncan.
I really love Stackhouse and Wallace. What a nucleus to build a team around. I'm prejudiced. I hope they both stay in college. But I know with the astronomical dollars that are out there, it's going to be tough, especially to keep Wallace around. This will be a lock as the #1 pick. I hate it that those pros take our players out so young and so early. They take them away. Why? Leave them alone. Let us enjoy them for 4 years.
Maybe the NFL and the NBA should pay penalty for people that come out of college early.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Hanging, can't get it to go. Ball is tipped back to North Carolina.
Not a good shot right there. Got to be a little bit more wiser in your shot selection. It could be a little spurt by North Carolina. Spacing right now, not there. You don't want too many guys together.
Stackhouse, not.
Oh, look how quick.
Ball and Wallace. Good heavens, what a foul.
Look how quick. How explosive. He's the 3S man. Super scintillating, sensational. Rasheed Wallace. This possession big right here. You got to have poise, and that's what Childress is demonstrating. Got to use each possession now with the lead. Getting to danger time.
Pulls back off the low screen. Inside. The ball taken down by Duncan again. This one for 3. Can't get it. And it's tipped away to McGinnis.
And now North Carolina's got to be wise with this possession.
6-point ball game. Wake on top.
I go to Stackhouse trying to post. I really let him drive.
Way outside. Wallace with the long carom.
Smart play by McGinnis. Smart. Really learning how to handle the North Carolina system in a point guard slot. 2-man game with Stackhouse and McGinnis. That's where he excels, about 15 feet away.
Stackhouse again, who has 14.
You just knew that he was going to start to put points on the board. They are back. The heels are back, Ron.
Timeout called by Wake Forest. We'll go to commercial with 3 minutes, 22 seconds left in this game. It's now a 4-point game, and good defense, and there's a little drought on hand for Wake Forest.
Get it 0 for 9 in terms of field goals in the last 7 minutes and 50 seconds. They only had 2 free throws in that spurt. North Carolina really back in the game. As we look here, Dave Odom on Childress.
Never been around another player like Randolph, he says. Picks up the team. In fact, he says he loves the latter stages of the contest.
Yeah, he really's got a great heart as well. You know, he came back from an ACL. It's amazing today what the medical people can do. When you think about Alan Henderson, Ed O'Bannon, you think about Childress, his sophomore year, had his anterior cruciate ligament torn.
About to go under 3 minutes.
This becomes Childress time right now. Here's where he really loves the basketball, like Michael Williams down there at Massachusetts. They become clutch players. They go up to another level. Got fouled right here, and he's a great free throw shooter.
Omaha heads to the line coming up on Super Tuesday. This is the lineup you'll see. First of all, in the Big Ten Conference, Indiana at Purdue. Always a fun affair up in the great state of Indiana. And then we'll head to the Southeastern Conference. LSU unranked, but they lead the West, and they will be in Arkansas to face off with the Razorbacks.
Hey, you talk about a gutty kid. Neil Reed the other night at Indiana. One of the most courageous performances, playing with a harness on his shoulder for Indiana. I mean, the kid had so much grit. It was incredible. That's Childress on the line. Bobby Cremins said against Georgia Tech, he said, we keep following him. This kid goes to the line like he doesn't miss. He said, I kept telling my players, don't put him on the line.
Don't foul him.
Don't foul this guy. He's automatic. Dave Odom says, I like it that he's on my side. Dave looks like a professor. A little zone right now. Little matchup zone. Could give him the open look at the three, though, out of this zone. Donald Williams has it. And he got it. That was going to be available. I'm not sure that's a good decision going to that 2-3 matchup. They overloaded, and they got Williams the high percentage trifecta.
Two straight years, Wake has gotten North Carolina here in this building. They got a lead with 2 minutes, 25 seconds left to play in this one, but it's far from over. Duncan misses. The tip inside, comes back to Duncan.
Smart play.
Very smart.
Bringing it back out, Duncan. You know, for fatigue purposes, a lot of teams go to the zone to try and give their players a little rest and a little energy. Good. Smart play by Tim Duncan, a kid that doesn't have a lot of basketball experience. When they're going to go to a trap, that means the wings are open. Post up, Duncan. Now look to the foul line. They bring it back out to the Chiller. They're going to trap. The wings are open against the trap.
Nice play by Banks as he tipped it outside, but they missed the three-pointer as Rutland couldn't find the range, and the Heels can cut it to one or tie it here.
They got the wing jump shot they wanted, but Rutland came up with a little bit of iron right there. Now patience right now. A lot of time on the clock. You think Wallace on the inside. They're going to double up.
We're tied. Jeff McGinnis.
Jeff McGinnis, what a solid performer, unheralded, and the Heels are back, showing why they're one of America's premier programs and teams. A lot of teams would have folded here down 10 with this crowd and played against Wake today. But North Carolina picked it up defensively, and now they go down to the last minute with a chance to win.
Stackhouse, you can see that they're trying to trap. Hits it.
We've been talking about what a clutch performance just the other night. 18 in the last 20 against Virginia. Mark Childress loves the end of the game. Banks really locking up on Stackhouse in this matchup. They're going to double up.
Wallace, too short. Whistle of a foul, and Wallace over the back.
39 ticks on the clock. Wake Forest with an excellent defensive stop. I thought he was going to go inside, outside. They dumped it to the interior, and he tried that little baseline jumper.
Duncan brings his team. You know, one of the things you also have to notice about him, and he's only a sophomore, he has great leadership ability, Dick, and that coolness, that calmness that he has, I think is infectious with his teammates as well.
Well, he's so loved by his teammates. They tell me when they practice, there's such a tremendous affection among all the players, and that's a reflection of Dave Odom and what he promotes within his program. As you can see right there, the bench standing up. That was really created by Dean Smith years ago. Gets that roll. Now this is a big one because this makes it a two-possession game. Dave Odom said, my game plan, I have to make this game, play it in the 60s. We cannot play it in the 90s and beat North Carolina.
Childress just came over to talk to Lenny Wirtz.
He's trying to be a referee now. So Childress is now a coach, a referee.
I think he was telling him, hey, get it to him.
Oh, what a roll.
That's exactly what he was doing. He said, if we make it, we want the timeout, they'll take it. 4-point lead. Wait. You know, the last minute of the game, the clock stops after the score.
At this rate, we'll never get to the Super Bowl.
No kidding, mister. We can make it 30 miles.
Ball club, I don't know if you should start too soon. By the way, Wake Forest 10-0 this year when they lead at halftime, trying to make it 11, and that's what happened here today. Dick, what do you look for here?
Well, I don't look for that ugly picture that you showed me, but right now you talk about, you know, defense is so important in terms of Wake Forest. This game has plenty of time. Dean Smith's a master, and you got to be careful of the foul situation, and you got to really protect the ball if North Carolina gets that score. And you got to anticipate that North Carolina will trap. This place has been great all day today. I mean, it's been unbelievable, the spirit here.
Great fans here at Winston-Salem. They have really reacted
and responded for their team.
I think it's a good decision right now by Davey Odom. Extend defensively to take some time off the clock. Make them have to work a little bit to get the ball off. That's a smart coaching decision. Just makes them work a little harder. It spreads the court, and that's an advantage for North Carolina. They got to think quick score right here. They don't have to think about a three. Got to go inside. Just score quickly.
Calabria, nice dish and shot. Scored, and he was fouled.
You don't want to foul. This is what we talked about, Ron.
Corral with the foul. It's his third. But the most important thing for Carolina, they can cut it to a one-point game. Or, no, there is no or. You can just cut it to one.
If he converts this right now, you got a one-point game and full court pressure. And the Deuce can win this game. Typical North Carolina, always in every game. Dean Smith is a master at the end of the game. He's been that way throughout his entire coaching career. His kids believe in them, believe that they can win when their back's against the wall. And that's part of the game, having a winning psychology.
Stackhouse, you can see his numbers. Carolina today is now 7 of 14 at the free throw line. Wake Forest is perfect. They're 6 of 6. And there's a timeout, so we'll take it with them. 29.9 seconds left. It is a 1-point Demon Deacon lead. No, about the Super Bowl coming up tomorrow.
Here comes the face guard right now. I'll tell you why that foul is big. Mathematically, right now, if they foul Wake Forest and they convert both of these, it's a three-point game. They got a 5-second violation. They got a turnover. Oh, full court pressure, gets the ball back. A mistake right there by Tim Duncan. See, mathematically, even if they made the 2 free throws, Wake, and they were fouled in that sequence, now it becomes a three-point game, and a three-point shot sends it in OT. That's why that foul was unnecessary there on Stackhouse. Any words now, pointing over to the bench, to the sideline. I don't know what the delay is right here. They're going to play some hoops. There's no timeout. That clock is really behind the screen. You can't see that clock. 25.9. No time. The clock starts. Remember this. And the ball is touched on the floor.
Now a timeout. And we're going to hold it right here.
North Carolina right now play for that high percentage shot. Wake Forest says this is our home. We can win at home.
Lenny Wirtz comes back to explain. Did not make a substitution during the same dead ball. So that's what had happened. 61-60. The last North Carolina lead was at 15-14. Let's go real time here.
Well, here it is. Look at them facing up. They switch on the inside. They make Duncan really struggle here trying to enter the basketball. There's the 5-second violation. There's the Carolina dance on the sideline. They try to make a substitution to get the player on the floor, and he can't in that situation. That's why they look at the super salves here. Not so much just their points. Their presence was really big. Jerry Stackhouse really struggled shooting the ball. Came out a little stronger, made a few big plays late in the game. But it's also been the shot blocking ability of Duncan and Wallace that's really been impressive.
The other number, of course, to add there is the fact that Tim Duncan has 7 blocks to go along with those other 2 numbers.
You know, the danger guy right now on the floor, the guy that I really feel becomes dangerous for North Carolina, is the missed shot. They do such a great job getting good offensive rebounding position, and so many times it's the guy away from the ball on a missed shot that converts the offensive rebound for the big win. Will they go to the last second for the shot? I don't believe so. I think that they're going to basically try to take it down and give themselves a chance for a rebound, certainly in the event of a miss. They're going to take the really high percentage shot here. And you know they're going to look inside. One option, Wallace, and certainly another one, Stackhouse around the basket. There it is.
Game clock only, no shot clock. There is nobody seated in this arena. Everybody's standing.
There's a lot of nervous time right now by all the Demon Deacon fans. There it is.
Williams hanging.
Oh, Hackett! Unbelievable clutch shot! Clock stops after this guy likes the big shot. He likes the big shot.
On the follow, can't get it to go. They even had a second chance. And North Carolina.
What a great comeback by North Carolina. Down 10. Many thought they were dead here today. But
you can't say that to Michelangelo and Dean Smith. Yes, a tough moment for Wake Forest. This game was basically going to be the winner's side, but you can't tell it to Michelangelo. What a genius on a sideline late in the game, Ron.
Oh, just like we talked about the kids that were celebrating in the stands, and you can't do it too quickly against Dean Smith and Carolina, and it's almost like they kind of sneaked in the back door. But Duncan, in defeat, what a game by him. But how much frustration does he have because he had to feel as though that they were going to get this win today?
Yeah, he really did a great job all day, except for that inbounds from the baseline, unfortunately. As we're going to watch Donald Williams with a little clear out, a little one-on-one, hanging in the air. That's the Donald Williams of 2 years ago. The big, big basket. Now here comes Randolph Childress, a clutch player, a guy that makes a lot of big shots. Throws that one up. And there's the little hook shot almost for the win right there. But there's Wallace with the rebound, and up it goes. And another W for Michelangelo as he climbs closer to the record of Adolph Rupp, 876.
Well, there is a stunned arena here in Winston-Salem, and for good reason. Also, the Stackhouse, we need to say nice job defensively because he had a hand up on the foul. So for Dick Vitale, Ron Franklin saying so long from Winston-Salem, and our final score, 62 North Carolina, 61 Wake Forest. Carl Ravitch, let's go to you.
All right, Ron, thanks. And a super way to start off a Super Saturday here at ESPN. Game very similar to last year.
Beaten by men nearly 1 every 15 seconds. And yet, only a handful of women actually report their beatings. Vance Johnson was a former football player who played in 3 Super Bowls. He's in the midst of publishing his new book. It is called The Vance. It's about the violent relationships and his ongoing therapy. This is the book. Vance Johnson joins us now. First of all, The Vance. The title comes from the fact that you believe there was almost an alter ego, almost a schizophrenic person, a second personality, Vance, The Vance. Explain.
Well, actually, I got it from Brian Bosworth when he was the boss early in my career, and I wanted to adopt the name for myself and try to build on it and be really popular. And so I started calling myself The Vance, and it took off, and it just really started to fly.
It was intoxicating. It was addicting, The Vance, the life. I mean, I remember you being one of the most glamorous players. You once told Joan Rivers, I'll do anything legal to be famous. I need to be famous. Do you believe that fame, the success, gave you the God complex?
No, I think it fueled the anger and the pain that was going on inside. And eventually I became out of control. I know that a lot of athletes come into the league, and depending upon where they're from, how they grow up, it's a big impact on people out in watching professional athletes. But with myself, growing up from in an abusive background.
Your father beat your mother?
There was abuse in my family. I don't want to call names. I made a decision when I became an adult, and I chose a different path, and that was to be a person that was abusive. I grew up around it. I saw it in my life. I saw it in my home. I won't point fingers except at myself.
How, before we get into the rest of the story, how does your family respond? Here's a guy, your child, is acknowledging that he was an abuser and a batterer of women, acknowledges that he had fathered 7 children, thousands of affairs with women, bought 40 cars, married 3 times, paid more than $400,000 in legal judgments against him that people despise. How does that sit with your family?
My family on the East Coast are really disappointed that I'm coming out with this story.
Are they embarrassed?
I think somewhat embarrassed, ashamed, but maybe it's going to make a difference in their lives even after I come out and let everyone know that I'm going to be the one in the family that breaks the chain of abuse.
At the top of the show, Vance, we saw a clip of a contrite Vance Johnson saying essentially, stuff went on, but I didn't abuse, I didn't batter, I wasn't a wife beater, et cetera, et cetera. How did you get to the point where you could acknowledge it, admit it? Was it just coerced by the courts, by other women who said you did?
Well, after the opportunity of being signed with another team in California, actually, I was able to leave all that stuff behind. And people had kind of forgotten about the interviews, the abuse, the problems. And even with the O.J. Simpson incident, nothing came to the forefront with myself. But it gave me a forum to be able to stand up and say, listen, the problem of abuse is real, and there needs to be something done. And if I could help someone by letting them know my story and getting help and the therapy and the tunnel that I took, the path that I took for recovery, it would help other men know that they can get help and get out of that chaos and that hell.
You know, there are a lot of people, many of them are women, who say, the hell with Vance Johnson. I don't need him to tell me or to tell us about how we should get help, etc., etc. This was the scum of the earth who beat many, many women and did it with great malice and great hostility. He also drank, although maybe that wasn't the issue, alcohol abuse. And he did these terrible things. What's this guy writing a book? Who the hell cares about Vance Johnson?
Well, first of all, Roy, I didn't beat many, many women. There are different forms of abuse. There's emotional, mental, and also the physical.
Okay, you took your toll on him, then. I think.
Well, I'll agree that I was abusive to my wives, and it was only to the people that I loved and cared about, and that's how I took out the pain and anger that I had inside me, were on the people that I was married to. It's bad, but I think the point that I'm trying to make is that men that are beating women, that are abusive to their spouses or girlfriends or whoever they're hurting in their life, that there's a way out of the chaos, and that's by getting help.
You don't really care, although you ask for forgiveness. You don't care whether you get the forgiveness. The most important thing is for you to come out and say.
The most important thing is for myself to come out and say and give my message. There have been many prominent men after watching the specials on television as of late, with myself being on television saying that I was an abusive person, that I got help, that there is a way out of this hell, this chaos, the pain that you live. And even just the other day, I walked into a therapist's office, and there was a man sitting there who had just saw me the day before on television saying that I was an abusive person, that I got help. And he said, it's because of you that I'm in this office today, because I don't want to hit my wife anymore, and I want to get help. And that's what's important to me.
Yet there is a price to pay for your candor.
Yes.
The price to pay, of course, may be that you could be maybe blacklisted. You know, nobody wants to take a chance on a guy who's acknowledged that, certainly not in the conservative National Football League.
Right.
Right?
I understand.
That's fine with you.
That's fine with me.
You think you'll get another chance?
I don't know.
You're 31 years old. You still have some, the charges took you on. They thought you were going to play football.
Yeah. I still have the ability to play football. Maybe I will be blacklisted so that I can't play in the Football League, in the National Football League anymore. But that's not what's important to me, Roy. Like you said earlier in the beginning of the show, women are being hit, abused every 15 seconds. By the time the end of the show is aired, there could be 600 women that would have been abused. So what would you do? Would you want to try to help other men get help so they don't beat these women anymore, or worry about their career and make money?
Every kind of abuser, alcoholic, cocaine, you name it, that I've ever talked to, talks about it, taking it one day at a time.
Right.
I'll never be cured. I'll always be an alcoholic. I'll always be a cocaine. I'll always be an addict. Is every single day of your life a battle so that you don't abuse, or you feel that you're out of the woods?
I am absolutely out of the woods, but I will always call myself a recovering man. In this process now, what I'm trying to do is reach out, get involved in more support groups and counseling and group therapy to help other men out of this call. So I'll always be involved in this program to try to help people. My therapist lost his daughter to a domestic abuse problem, and she was killed. And this was within the last year. She was shot by a man who was very abusive to her. And I'm putting my life on the line, saying that I'm out here to help men get out of this chaos and hell and to stop the abuse.
It's a fascinating story, a story that's filled with all kinds of threats. His threats towards women and other people's threats towards him. He wrote this book, ironically enough, with his teammate, running back Reggie Rivers. The name of the book is The Vance, The Beginning, The End. Vance Johnson. More after this.
Up Close is brought to you by Levi's loose-fitting jeans.
If you're into computers, get into PC Magazine, your one-stop source for everything you need to know about buying and using computer products. Call now and get your next issue of PC Magazine free. Plus a free CD-ROM bonus with this exclusive TV offer. Here's editor Michael Miller to tell you more.
As editor-in-chief of PC Magazine, I see my share of hot and not-so-hot computer products. The trick is being able to separate the two. I'm here at PC Magazine Labs, our state-of-the-art multi-million-dollar computer testing laboratories, where we review and test all kinds of hardware and software to show you how PCs and operating systems stack up against each other, what to look for in online services, how to select the best printers, the coolest software, CD-ROMs, modems, monitors, and more. We give you head-to-head comparisons that help you know what to buy now, what you should wait for, and what's next.
PC Magazine is the most trusted computer information resource in the world. Over 1 million computer professionals turn to PC Magazine 22 times a year. Since you are into computers and make buying decisions for yourself and others, call now and get your next issue of PC Magazine absolutely free and without obligation. And if you join us as a subscriber, you'll get 21 more issues, a total of 22 for just $29.97, an amazing 66% off what you'd pay at the newsstand. Or cancel and owe nothing. Plus, get PC Magazine's Megapack CD-ROM with your paid subscription, loaded with over 100 top programs. Plus, a demo version of Alpha 5, and much more. To get your free issue of PC Magazine and reserve your bonus CD-ROM, call now.
1-800-354-3434.
Played 9 years in the National Football League and was a very, very good receiver. 3 Super Bowls. In fact, he is second in all-time receiving the Denver Broncos. He is Vance Johnson, but he's not talking about receiving these days. He's talking about, I guess, talking about a kind of giving something back to what you took away for all those years. I'm going to talk about a couple of things that are very painful for you to talk about. One of it was August of 1991. Your ex-wife, her car was banged by your third wife's car that you were driving at the time, an attempt to... Girlfriend at the time. Attempt to assault. I don't know if attempt to kill, even, for all we know. But this is the picture of the automobile that had rammed, and obviously a period in your life you're ashamed of. How bad did it have to get before you were willing to acknowledge that, wait a minute, there is something deeply wrong? Do you have one anecdote, one incident of how bad it got?
Well, I think everything took a toll on me. I know when I had to spend a little bit of time in jail, 4 days to be exact, it gave me a chance to sit there and think about everything I had done. And then having to go to a therapist to get counseling, and mandatory for 6 months, I had a chance to sit there and listen to me and talk about their abuse problem and how they wanted to get help and how they wanted to get well. After that 6 months, I saw a difference in my life. I saw a change, but I wasn't well yet. So I continued another 3 years to stay in that process of recovery.
Are you talking about what? Slapping? Hitting with a balled fist?
No, I'm talking about slapping, pushing, restraining, just demeaning, being verbally abusive, being controlling, trying to control what the person wore, what they said, what they did, where they went.
You hit Angela, I believe it was your first wife, and you knocked her out.
I pushed her, and she hit her head and was knocked out.
You thought she died, didn't you?
Yes, I thought she was dead.
If she had died, is there any way to know how you might have felt back then? Would you have tried to cover it up? Would you have come clean? Would there have been great remorse? Or was this person, this madman driving you at that particular time, I don't know, maybe you were seeking that, I don't know.
There would have been great remorse. I think now that I think about the kind of person I was back then, I probably would have tried to commit suicide.
You did, though, didn't you?
Yes.
Didn't you? This is, I believe this is Angela, right?
Yes, that's Angela.
He was always worried that I'd call the cops. Most women don't call the cops. In fact, a little bit later, I'm going to do a commentary about women and cops and getting the hell out of the house. The first time they're hit, you believe now, the first time a woman is hit by a man, she should call the cops.
The first time she's hit by a man, she should call the cops and leave. And if a man continues to tell him, honey, I'm sorry, I love you, I'll never do it again, you can believe that he means that, but don't believe that that's going to happen, because you have to get help. That's the only way out of it.
It's all about domination and control. Why? Why did you need to dominate and control? What did the therapist tell you now?
I think growing up, I was a really controlled person and really didn't have a lot to say. No power.
Tucson, Arizona.
In Tucson, Arizona.
Quiet kid.
Right. Right, with a background of nothing but sports, a lot of chaos, a lot of pain growing up in my family. After I got into the NFL, I became this powerful figure so I thought. And I felt like I should be in control and be the one that told everyone what to do. I think that was probably part of the problem when I grew up and was in the NFL. Women wanted to have their own control. And now I understand that that's normal.
Vance, I remember doing an interview with you back in 1990. You're a marvelous talent, a marvelous artist that drew figures and sketches of women and compared, was it Erte? Or right. Compared to Erte and that kind of stuff. Beautiful, lovely, you know, beautiful women that you would draw and sketch. Is that because maybe there was a love and hate parallel that you had to women, and you could draw these beautiful, glamorous women, and then wherever it came from, there was a rage against all of that?
I believe probably now that that's probably the case, that there was a love and hate. Back then, to me, it was a way of having a beautiful woman.
And controlling it.
Right, and controlling
on a canvas.
It, and that it couldn't hurt me. It couldn't hurt me verbally, physically, emotionally. I didn't have to worry about it having an affair, that person having an affair. But when I was married, I was always concerned and worried about that. And I always wanted to be in control. And so I would paint these pictures of women and put them up all over my house. And I felt like that was the only security and safety that I had.
When you came clean and talked openly about this, the first thing a charity group in Denver, a school, by the way, I think a charity for abused children, ironically enough, first thing they did is said, we'll never let Vance Johnson step foot on the grounds again. He'll never do, no matter how good his work was, and there was some good work working with the charity kids in Denver, we'll never let him back. We'll never be able to make a contribution again. Were they wrong? And here you are doing some of the things you did for good kids.
I love kids. I always have loved kids. I always felt like I would never be abusive to children. But now that I realized that when I was married to Angela, by being abusive to her, could have helped hurt the children, I understand their opinion and the reason why they made that decision to never let me help again. Now I'm going to help in another way. Part of the proceeds made by the book will be going to a women's shelter, a safe house for women, because I want to be able to reach out and let them know that I'm sorry, and whatever I can do to help this problem, please let me.
How were you affected by the O.J. Simpson case? I mean, I remember reading some comments that just said, you know, it can happen to somebody. I mean, at some point, there's a responsibility that you have to affix towards somebody. It doesn't happen necessarily to somebody. Have you had a chance to reflect on it now? Have you had a different opinion based on your own therapy?
Well, I stand behind O.J. Simpson's innocent 100% until he's proven guilty.
Right.
But obviously it's known now nationwide that he had a problem with abuse. He's always been my idol growing up. I wanted to be like O.J. Simpson. I chose a different path now, and that was a road to recovery. This is completely separate from the incident with the murders of his wife and her friend. But the abuse has to stop. And I hope, if anything is learned out of this, that O.J. Simpson gets help for the abuse that he had, the problem that he had.
Vance Johnson made much of his career with Denver and the Denver Broncos. We'll come back to some final thoughts with the author of the book, The Vance, after this.
Music Express, voted #1 by the National Limousine Association, has offices in Los Angeles and the East Coast. Music Express can handle your corporate needs anywhere in the U.S. and worldwide.
Panel 2 Action News. The best coverage of the day's top stories.
A shakeup announced in the Clinton administration.
It's time for the regular people to stand up and say something about it.
A news team that's straightforward, responsible, experienced.
In Coweta County today, prospective jurors.
Getting youth involved is part of the solution, too.
Now, John Pruitt joins Monica Kaufman and Don Farber, anchors who know Georgia.
Our live Team 2 coverage.
Channel 2 Action News. Coverage you can count on.
To understand the logic, you must understand the hostility. These pockets of ill will are the only places where animosity remains politically correct. It may even be unclear what matters more. Your team's victory or the other team's defeat. These rivalries, they may be natural. These rivalries, they may be wrathful. These rivalries, they are not pretty. But my, oh my, they are fun.
Talking to Vance Johnson, name of the book is The Vance, talking about spousal abuse. When Shree left you, I think that was your second wife, you hit rock bottom.
Yes.
There was glass on the floor, and you thought about the idea of taking that glass and slitting your wrists. I don't know how close it came. Why didn't you?
Actually, I started to cut my wrist. I started slowly slicing the glass across my wrist to try to get myself, just gash it wide open. And I started thinking about the people that loved me, that supported me, that cared, that wanted me to get help. And then all of a sudden the phone rang. And it was my therapist that I was seeing at the time.
Dr. Rakowski?
Yes. Yes, it was the therapist that called, and I talked to him, and he helped talk me out of doing what I was going to do.
A lot of people did care. Dan Reeves, I don't know how aware he was of all of this, but he stood by you, stands by you even today. A man with a completely different agenda. I mean, your style wasn't his style, right. Clearly on the field. Guy you love a great deal. In fact, you told him that.
Yes, I love Dan Reeves very much. Dan Reeves' door was always open. He always told everyone, my door is open if you need help. Come to me and I will help you. I was ashamed of my problem. I was afraid that, like you said, I may be blacklisted, kicked out, because they didn't need me. They can always find another receiver that was even better than myself to play. So I was always afraid to reach out. But after going to him and talking to him, even after my problems, he always stood by my side like a lot of other people did. And that's when you know who your real friends are.
And then you have your real friends and your real lovers and friends.
Right.
Holly is your third wife.
Yes.
I liken this to, Vance, being married to a lit fuse and living in a house with dynamite sticks all over the place. Why a woman, knowing your history, would marry you, commit to you, support you. I mean, do you wonder sometimes, too? Are you amazed by the courage, some might even say stupidity, of Holly?
I think some people would say stupidity, but they don't know Holly, and therefore that would just be a judgment that they would have to make. I knew Holly for many years, and she knew me through the crazy, wild, flamboyant times, and she knew me through the process of recovery, and she believed in me, and she stood by my side. And she always told me right from the beginning, if you ever raise a hand at me, I will call the cops on you. If you ever hit me, I will call the cops on you. And in the beginning, I was afraid of that because it felt like she was abandoning me and she didn't trust me and she wouldn't love me. But in fact, she wanted to protect herself because she didn't want to be with someone that was going to be that way. So she stood by my side in this whole process of recovery. At times, she was afraid because I raised my voice. She was really afraid at times. And she threatened to call the cops. Sometimes she would even have her hand on the phone. If you continue to get loud and I get scared, I want to call the cops.
They say when you feel the fear, that's when you should start thinking about the phone.
Right.
Feel the fear first. How do you know you'll never hit her? I mean, how does a drug addict know I'll never use ever? They only say, I know I won't use today. How do you know you'll never hit her?
I think no one ever really knows. I just know I have the resources to reach out if I feel like I have a problem and I want to be outrageous, I want to hurt someone. I can reach out and call someone. I can call my support group. I can call my counselor. I'm involved in that process all the time of recovery. I'm never going to hit another woman, I feel, and I never want to, but I'll always be recovering.
We have just a couple of moments left with Vance Johnson. We'll take it in the next segment. Final thoughts with Vance after this.
Guests of Up Close stay at the Beverly Prescott, LA's premier boutique hotel. Call your travel agent to make reservations at the Beverly Prescott Hotel.
You ready? Yes. I'm going to put something in front of you. I want you to tell me what you smell.
I have no idea. Well, my sense of smell isn't too great right now because I'm very stuffed up.
I have a nasal spray I want to give you.
Wow.
Now what do you smell?
That's an orange.
You got it? Curious about the product?
What is it? Tristan. Unbelievable.
Tristan 12-hour nasal spray.
Great. Man, I can breathe.
At the Discovery Channel, we go to extraordinary lengths to tell extraordinary stories. So if we see it, you see it. The Discovery Channel. Explore your world.
Florida has Final Four hopes again, but next up on their dance card is SEC rival Kentucky. Rick Pitino has his Wildcats flying high, but Gainesville, Florida is a long way from Rupp Arena. Kentucky takes on Florida tonight at 9:30, only on ESPN.
How many miles must you walk to reach the Senior Tournament of Champions? Will you travel as far as Nicholas, climb as high as Floyd, cross the void with Stockton, dig as deep as Colbert, and see as far as Albus? Keep walking. We all live the quest. That's why we watch. Let ESPN show us the way. The Senior Tournament of Champions, Friday through Sunday on ESPN.
Talking to Vance Johnson, some final thoughts. We have 90 seconds left. You want to be part of the solutions. You want to be a counselor for spousal abuse.
Yeah. I do want to be a counselor for spousal abuse. I have so much pain inside me, Roy, because of the problems that are going on in society now with domestic violence. And I want to be a part of the solution. Even though I was a part of the problem before, I can be a part of the solution. I can stand up to the forefront and say, listen, I came out of the chaos. This is the way out. Follow me.
Waking up in the morning, looking in the mirror and feeling good about yourself for all of the evil that you associated yourself, and you never lose that. You'll never get rid of that. How are you going to be able to, the next day, say, there's a lot of room for good, there's reason to smile in my life?
It's really hard. It's hard to find a reason to smile, but I have a lot of children that I love. I love my wife. I love the cause that I stand for now, which I've never had one, even though I've been a good football player. So I'm happy with the process that I've taken, the road that I've taken, and I just want to help.
Be it football or involving yourself in therapy groups, wherever it is, Vance Johnson, Godspeed. We wish you luck.
Thank you.
It's a battle. This is the book, The Vance, The Beginning of the End, by Vance Johnson with Reggie Rivers, just out. Try to pick it up. I'll come back. I have some insight, having had a chance to talk to people on spousal abuse on that subject. That's after this.
Clothing provided by David Rickey and Company, designers of custom clothing for men, California, New York, and the world.
Imagine your favorite NFL team drafting the fiercest competitor ever. Warner Brothers' Tasmanian Devil. He's about to score for your team with these exciting new Taz in the NFL watches. There's one for each and every team, both NFC and AFC, even the brand new Charlotte Panthers. That's 30 exciting designs in all. Each watch features an accurate Swiss quartz movement, water resistance to 100 feet, an Action Taz NFL team logo, and a unique football second head. Taz fever is sweeping the country, so score big with a special TV offer, only $29.95. It's a devil of a deal, so pick your favorite NFL team and order now.
Call toll-free 1-800-554-9000. That's 1-800-554-9000, or send $29.95 plus shipping and handling to Taz NFL Watches, P.O. Box 213, Plainville, Connecticut, 06062.
Sunday night at 9 Eastern, former world champion Prince Charles Williams faces Murky Sosa for the NABF Light Heavyweight Championship. Top Rank Boxing on ESPN.
It happens behind closed doors, in the daylight and in darkness. It happens in your house, the house next door. Battery is the #1 cause of injuries to women in America. More than car accidents, more than muggings and rapes combined. And now, only now, in the wake of the O.J. Simpson tragedy and others like it, are victimized women doing something about it. There are warning signs for women to heed. If he hits you once, he will hit you again. He's broken his taboo, don't you see? It makes the next beating easier. And so, the first time he hits you, leave or call the police. The Justice Department tells us that half of those women who don't respond that way, the first time, will be beaten again within 6 months' time. Pay attention. Does your husband or boyfriend try and control your dress, whom you see? Does he threaten you? The biggest issue in battery is an attempt to control you. Is he a substance abuser? Does he resent your success? Does he blame you for the problem? Does he lack the ability to empathize or communicate? If the answer is yes to those questions, try to get him separate counsel. Don't try to explain away or justify your fear. As soon as you feel fear, call the police or domestic violence hotline, or just get out of the house. It may happen behind closed doors in your neighborhood next door. It may happen in your house. But you need not join the 6 million women assaulted every year in this country. Use your phone or your feet. Use your brain. Don't worry about guilt or overreacting. Don't buy into tearful apologies or attempts to justify violent behavior. Just get help. Just do it. That's our show. Thank you for watching, everybody. Good night.
Travel provided by Continental, offering business first-class service at a business class fare.
Good evening, everyone, from the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. It's the season premiere of Big Monday. Tonight, the Villanova Wildcats take on the Syracuse Orangemen. The 1980s saw the Big East explode on the national scene. Charismatic stars and tough, tenacious play were the trademarks that led the Big East to national prominence. 1995 has brought a fresh group of marquee players, led by Felipe Lopez and Allen Iverson, as the Big East is once again poised to make its mark on the national scene. And welcome live inside the Carrier Dome. It's time for Big Monday, presented by Bud Light. Tonight, Syracuse goes for its 11th straight win as it plays host to Villanova. And in a league full of rising stars, we have two established stars on display tonight. The Wildcats, led by Kerry Kittles, and the Orangemen feature Lawrence Moten. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough, along with Bill Raftery, and it's great to have you with us. You expect Kittles and Moten to play each other to a draw tonight, and Bill, perhaps this game will be decided by other players.
They're very talented guys, and they're very unselfish, but up front, John Wallace has been dynamic, very strong, physical performer. He's attacking the glass. I think he's a key guy because everybody's afraid about the perimeter shooting. On the other side, Jason Lawson. In their offense, he begs for the ball across the 3-second lane, box to box. He's gotten good numbers, Sean. They have to go to him, I think, to take the pressure off the outside people, particularly bits of Kittles.
Syracuse is streaking. Villanova has played well of late as well. They've won 4 of their last 5. The opening tip-off from Syracuse right after this.
It's coming, and it's headed your way on pay-per-view.
You thought I was dead, didn't you?
Those crazy city slickers are westward bound again.
We're gonna be rich!
It's Curly.
Curly! Ah!
Billy Crystal, Daniel Stern, John Lovitz, and Jack Palance. City folk. You gotta have it.
Hello?
And pay-per-view's got it. City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold.
Let's go get it.
Today's hit movies are only a phone call away. With Scripps Hour Theater, we deliver 24 hours a day.
Diet. Just follow my plan.
Go,
you don't
baby.
have to starve yourself.
Go,
you don't
baby.
have to
You gotta
go.
bring it in where you want to go. Just 4 short hours a day and you'll look like me.
If you want to be a star like me,
Aren't you tired of all the hype and fitness fads? Well, turn off the hype and turn to a name you can trust, Nordic Track. Nordic Track isn't a fitness fad. It's the proven leader in home fitness for 19 years. And it's known as the world's best aerobic exerciser. Unlike other exercisers, Nordic Track gives you a total body workout that emphasizes all the major muscle groups. A more effective workout that raises your metabolism fast and burns more calories. In fact, after 5 years, 7 out of 10 people still use their Nordic Track regularly. So you make the choice. Hype, hot air, empty promises, or Nordic Track. Don't settle for less than America's best. Call now for your free video and brochure.
Welcome back once again to our studios and Big Monday. Clark Kellogg joins me at halftime. I'm John Saunders here with the scores and highlights throughout the night. We'll get you out to the Carrier Dome in a moment. But first, a reminder, 2 other games coming up on Big Monday. In the Big 8, number 3 Kansas against number 17 Missouri, the Tigers, with a 16-game regular season winning streak in the Big 8 on the line. And then another Big 8 team, Nebraska, on the road at Long Beach State. Cornhuskers have dropped 2 in a row. And coming up, it's the Big East, Villanova and Syracuse. Straight ahead.
Nowadays, people have to depend on their cars more than ever, and it's my job at Cadillac to make sure you can. That's one of the reasons the new DeVille Concours impressed so many people. Our Northstar system made this DeVille one of the first cars ever to go 100,000 miles between scheduled tune-ups. You see, there is a car company creating these higher standards because it values your time almost as much as you do. That's my company, Cadillac.
Don't let a new car payment be a financial burden. Get Smart Lease by GMAC. It just might give you something you wouldn't mind carrying around. Don't let a new truck payment stretch you to the limit. Get Smart Lease by GMAC. It keeps new vehicles well within reach.
Here at Bud Bowl's second quarter, Bud Light's moving the ball. Dropping back. He can't find anyone. He's looking. He's going deep.
Hope he brings back some blood.
At the half, Bud Light leads Budweiser 21-14. Get your Bud Bowl game card where you buy Bud and Bud Light for your chance to win $1 million.
Ricky, man, you're getting way too into this.
Next up, the 1995 Air Show's Precision Jet on a double-barrel.
I thought their pizza was something.
They're spectacular in hot, mild, and now barbecue sauce. Call for any pizza and get a full order of our new chicken wings for $3.99.
ESPN's coverage of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. By Cadillac and your Cadillac dealer, creating a higher standard. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Welcome back to the Carrier Dome. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by McDonald's. For Villanova at 8-4 overall, 2-1 in the Big East, Chuck Cornegay makes his second start and 6th appearance in a Villanova uniform. They've had trouble on the boards. They hope he can help solve that problem. And for Syracuse, J.B. Reef-Snyder off to a terrific start in the middle, sharing time with Otis Hill. Reef-Snyder, an excellent shooting touch, averaging just under 9 points per game and just over 5 rebounds per game for Coach Jim Boeheim. John Cowell is the lead official and will throw the ball in the air. He's working with Ted Hillary and Frank Scagliotta. Syracuse in the home white, Villanova in the visiting blue. It will be Cornegay to jump center for Nova. Wallace for the orange, and we're underway. It's controlled by Villanova's Eric Evers.
And the Cuse, man-to-man.
Jonathan Haynes, guarded by Michael Lloyd, now Kittles, and he opens with Lucius Jackson guarding him.
A lot of motion, a lot of screens.
Haynes underneath for Cornegay, knocked away by Wallace. Villanova will inbound with 18 on the shot clock.
And total disregard for the bunting as well. 3-quarter in the post. John Wallace took half of the stands down there along the baseline.
Syracuse won the meeting between the two teams here last year, but Villanova had won in each of the previous 4 meetings played here at the Dome, and they routed Syracuse in those 4. The average winning margin for the Cats was 17 points.
The guy knows the 2-3 zone on the inbounds, forces the deep outlet.
Cornegay with 10 on the shot clock. Too strong. Wallace controls.
Cornegay fills out that uniform, by the way.
Indeed, he does at a solid 6'9", 225. He just joined the Wildcats of the second semester, sat out a full year as a transfer from North Carolina State, and Syracuse threw it away.
Now, Reif-Snyder, a good passer, tough look that time as the professor, Jim Boeheim, gets on his case a little bit early, but a nice front by Cornegay on Wallace caused the turnover.
444 wins now for Boeheim. He's won 20 or more games 17 times in 18 years.
And he acts like he has my record.
Kittle, strong cut and was fouled from behind by Lucius Jackson.
Going without the ball, huh? You mentioned Moten and Kittles as we started the evening. He's terrific without the basketball. Sets up his game, screening, cutting to the ball. That time a single cut to the goal.
Steady improvement for Villanova under Steve Lapis. Last year, the NIT championship to go along with 20 wins. Expectations a lot higher. Coach Lapis says the big difference this year is teams are ready for us now, where last year, most of the people we played didn't think were any good.
And, of course, he could get a job in the Lincoln Tunnel with that voice. I mean, he's in postseason style with the Louis Canseco whisper. But, no, they're all prepared for him. They're not an easy out, obviously, but they're not sneaking up on anybody.
Took a minute and 2 seconds, but we have a point. Kittles made 1 out of 2. And Villanova pitching a 1-0 shutout.
And the Cats have been man-to-man all the way.
Moten guarded by Kittles.
Great
and
matchup.
it spins out. And so many similarities between Moten and Kittles in their style of play.
Socks, 3 of them are high of the 4.
Cornegay, that's not his range.
And they said today that he cannot knock those 15-footers down. Get near the glass, big fella.
10 to 12 is about it, according to Coach Lapis. That basket won't count. Acrobatic shot by Lloyd, but John Cowell said he was fouled before the shot attempt.
Say, he keeps playing like this. Lloyd's of London will be enjoying him. Michael with the bounce, great speed, turns the corner, and that time drew the attention of Lawson. Hayes has got to contain, not easily done.
Foul on Lawson, his first and the first on the team, and the inbounds play defended by Ebers. Syracuse will try again with a fresh 35 on the shot clock.
We were granted an audience with Jim Boeheim. We caught him smiling. Unusual pregame outlook, very cheery. There's that high-low look that they favor. I think they're going to have to deny that pass to Reef Stein. They're going to get hurt.
Jackson was fouled, and that one counts. And already Coach Lapis is upset with the officials.
Well, his big problem is one-on-one containment. And Steve can't believe the early 2 fouls, but he was harping today. Don't let them get into the 3-second lane. But this Jackson is number 5. And when he plays well, I think it's a whole different Syracuse team. 3-point range, ability to go to the goal, as you just saw, and attack that's in.
Lucius Jackson out very early tonight, about an hour and a half before the game, working on his jump shot under the watchful eye of assistant coach Tim O'Toole.
And the eyes of his dad, too, if you notice. Big Luke.
Former member of the 76ers, their championship team in '67. Foul on Reese Snyder.
Jimmy Boeheim's getting his shot in about Steve Lapis performing at the other end. You're letting him influence you. That time he's up amongst the trees. Not a good foul. You should have let him deliver and then sent it back out.
Lawson goes to the bench. And he is fouled out of 15 of his 44 career games. And in 21 others, he has finished the game with 4 fouls. Zephy Penn is in for Villanova. Haynes made the first. Jonathan, a senior from Philadelphia, good free throw shooter. At 82%, this is a good Villanova free throw shooting team. As a matter of fact, 70% for the year, and that's best in the Big East for the moment.
And one of the things they were concerned about is ringing the bell, scoring so they could set up their different looks defensively. It's been man-to-man. There's a walk. Hayes pressuring the basketball, but they like to mix it up. Different traps, different position of pressure points.
Second Syracuse turnover. Villanova has not yet turned it over. Quiet crowd, and a smaller crowd than anticipated. They thought they'd have 25,000 here tonight, but it was snowing hard about an hour ago. The game is on TV. A lot of folks might have made the decision to stay home tonight.
What a surprise.
What, snow in Syracuse? Moten wound up with the deflection. 3-2 Villanova. We played 2.5 minutes.
And there they try to contain, but Ebers at a disadvantage. Eric trying to contain the quick-footed Luke Jackson. Now this Syracuse team played Arizona, and we had chatted today with some of the people at Syracuse. That's as good as I've seen them play in a long time. In motion, they got after it. Here's a little zone off the sideline out of bounds. keep it out of the middle. 1-2-2 look. They will identify the shooters.
And down to 17 on the shot clock.
Well, they will give up that post easily. 10, not big enough. Zeppi got a little time, a little extra time up at BC. 6-6, some difference from Lawson.
First point for Wallace. Syracuse leads 4-3. Zeppi Penn got 20 minutes of action against the Eagles. A big Villanova win. Tonight, there's Korn again.
A lingerie move. Strong. Put it down. Well, that's his range, huh?
Yes, not the top of the key jumper, but the slam dunk. Coach Lapp has told us today Cornegay on 3 occasions this year has stopped practice completely with outstanding athletic moves. Reese Snyder kept it alive into the Moten miss.
Now, Moten didn't get the elevation on that shot, but he's dangerous deep.
Lloyd, long from three-point range, and it was Jackson.
Great pump fake.
And the score by Moten.
Always within himself. Plays like Longfellow.
First points for Sir Lawrence, who scored in double figures in 43 straight games. Now that hit Haynes after the deflection by Lloyd. And a timeout. 15:57 left in the first half. Syracuse by 1.
And action. So when you get that craving for 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, remember, McDonald's Big Mac is only 95 cents all this month. Cut! Cut. Well, how did I do? Was it okay?
You just caused a major Big Mac attack. Can we move on, Mr. Johnson?
Sure. What's up next?
Egg McMuffin.
Is it 95 cents too?
Just for this month.
Then we'd better hurry up.
When you can trust something and know it'll come through for you, that's everything. One of the things we focused on with the new DeVille Concord was making it reliable. We designed the Northstar system so that if it ever lost all of its engine coolant, you'd still be able to drive a DeVille Concord up to 50 miles to safety, even in desert heat. You may never need it, but it'll be there for you. There's a car company that cares enough to give you this kind of dependability. That's my company, Cadillac.
Don't let a new car payment be a financial burden. Get Smart Lease by GMAC. It's an affordable way to drive off with a new GM vehicle. And it might even give you something you wouldn't mind carrying around.
Every day, America Online is making it easier for people to live, work, and play.
Hey, Dan, ready for the game?
I can't go to the game today.
What?
I got to send my mom a birthday gift, then book plane tickets for our trip next week, and my kids got to go to the library to look up dinosaurs.
Hey, we can take care of that right now with America Online.
We can?
Yeah, we can send your mom flowers, order those plane tickets. We can even look up dinosaurs in Compton's Encyclopedia.
With America Online, you get instant news and sports, financial updates, online magazines, and easy access to the internet. Call now for your free America Online startup kit and 10 free online hours.
Flowers are sent, plane tickets are booked. Here come the dinosaurs.
That's great.
Downloading's easy. I can even send an email on the internet. We'll check it all out later, after the game.
So how do you get America Online?
Well, that's easy, too. You just call their 800 number.
Call 1-800-346-0600 now for your free America Online startup kit with free software and 10 free online hours. It's everything you need to get online, so call today, 1-800-346-0600.
Welcome back to our first Big Monday of 1995, presented by Bud Light. And Big Monday continues at 9:30 Eastern Time as Kansas, now ranked number 3, takes on number 17, Missouri. Missouri off to a great start into the top 20 at number 17, 10-1. Their only loss to Arkansas. It's Kansas and Missouri from the Hearn Center in Columbia coming up next.
KU. Every year they're pretty good. So's Mr. Stewart.
Mr. Stewart run through the league undefeated last year. He'll try to do it again this year. Reese Snyder, good catch.
Well, that was going in, I thought. Did you?
And Wallace might have knocked it away.
Reese Snyder screens away and then steps away or up the lane. Either one. A good cross-court look by Moten.
5 lead changes already. 6-5 Syracuse. We played 4.5 minutes. Evers has the 3 rattle out. Haynes down the lane. Penn deflected by Wallace and controlled by Wallace.
Haynes on Moten. He can post up. Rich Snyder should clear and give him a little room.
Good pass, and Reed Snyder scores.
So much for that philosophy. That's how unselfish he is, though. Lawrence has a great feel for the game.
Reed Snyder's been in double figures in the last 2 games. He had 15 points against Boston College Tuesday night, 12 points against Seton Hall here Saturday night.
Yeah, they may run, but they're patient on offense. A lot of back screens. Got away with a walk there.
Yes, he did. Penn traveled. And down on the floor goes Jackson.
Luke trying to use Whitey Rigsby, the Villanova announcer, for some support. But right here, the cross-court look in the passing lane, gets a piece.
Oh.
And so much for that equipment.
Whitey and Andy Musser will have to tell Luke he's a little late for the pregame show. It's already been done.
Another Syracuse guy, Andy Musser. I didn't know that. One-time Philly announcer.
Yes, and Mike Schmidt. A big day for him.
Yeah. Well, someday you'll be there. I'll be selling peanuts.
This is Alvin Williams, who's struggled a bit to this point in the season, wearing number 20 for Villanova. A terrific year last year. Kittle to the shot clock running out through an air ball. He fired up with 3.
A nice pull of the switch by Boeheim. The 2-3 zone caused a little confusion on the sideline.
8-5 Syracuse. We expected a high-powered offensive show tonight. It has not been that to this point.
He uses that pump fake well, huh?
Moten does. He missed a shot. Wallace, great look to the baseline, dropped in by Moten.
Well, it's contagious. Moten sets the standard. They all look for one another. The big, long arm of John Wallace extended itself.
4 points tonight for Moten, now 1,946 for his career. He's on his way to being the all-time leading scorer in Syracuse and in the Big East if he stays healthy. Ebers on a nice pass, missed the shot, but goaltending is the call. It was Haynes who threaded the needle to Ebers for his first 2 points of the night.
Without Lawson in the middle, this Syracuse team has a tendency, Lloyd and others, to sneak a peek and get back up. We saw Kittles do it, and that time we saw Ebers. Got to see both ball and know where your guy is.
Very quiet Carrier Dome crowd. Thinking about all the work they're going to do in one double. Jackson missed the 3. Reed Snyder's over the back. He climbed Cornegay and got called for the foul. That's the second on Reed Snyder. But some of the good news of late for Syracuse has been the fact that Otis Hill is coming on, and he and Reed Snyder have been sharing time in the middle.
Yeah, they feel a lot better about that spot, and very impressed with the work habits of that guy. In the weight room, obviously, a kid who's got a nice touch. She was 70-some-odd in the league and 58 overall.
And Moten saw it coming and